Good afternoon. I'm down the road, obviously, and I'm down by the outflow from our nature pond, which is what we're talking about this week. Our wildlife pond, our nature pond, our pond. Our pond is just up here, and what we're looking at down here is the outflow. This was all tremendously overgrown, and I've spent the last 2 or 3 weeks down cutting back all the trees here. As you can see, the ground here is quite... It's me disco dancing. It's quite boggy, and I think the reason it's quite boggy is because this outflow is backed up. It gets backed up. The pond's quite low just now in terms of the level of the water in it, but even so, this water, it's almost stagnant, not quite, but almost stagnant, and it's like that all the way up through the trees there. That's where the pond is. So what I've done is I've cut back all this wood. There was a tremendous amount of it, really a lot of wood, and all the way back to the bridge. There's a wee bridge there which goes down to the new waterfall, and the outflow continues away around there. What I'll do is I will put up the drone. I'll put that footage on now. So as you can see, the pond has an island in the middle of it. You can see the outline, and you can see these reed beds that have grown up. I don't know if those reed beds are a good or a bad thing, but parts of the pond have silted up to the point whereby these reeds have grown, and you can actually walk on it if it's dry. So the level that it's at just now, you can probably walk on that. I wouldn't recommend it, you might get stuck, but you can. And you can see the outline of the island in the middle. You can also see the inflow from the Kale Burn, and then the outflow, which is where I'm standing now. So that's the nature pond, and the question is can we dig it out? What do we do with it? There is a lot of nature in there. I've seen frogs, lots of frogs as we've seen. I saw otters. I think they were in for the frogs perhaps, but it all goes on. But what we do need to do is work out how to improve all this, because I don't know when this outflow was dug, but I don't think it's the original outflow. I think the original outflow was away back over towards that corner of the pond. I think it went back to the river a lot. It didn't come back this way. This has been dug maybe, do you know, I don't know, I'm guessing, but the point is that they've dug it, and if you look here, if this is what they've dug, they dug it right up to right up to a tree, quite a sizable tree, and then obviously the water that's come out of the pond has just washed the earth out from beneath the roots, and the trees fallen over in the first blow. That's what's happened here. All this land here is like, it's really boggy, and it just, and the whole thing is just a bit of a mess. I'll put the drone up again, and you can see just how, I don't know, desolated this area of the grounds is, and it's the only flat area of the grounds that we've got, and if we cleared it and drained it properly, it would make for a good campsite. But that's a good bit down the road, because the drainage here is terrible. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe you know. If you do, put something in the comments below. See those big logs, and these 2 big planks of wood, these like flooring planks, used to be up at the outflow for the pond, and there was a storm, one of the storms, don't know which one, and they actually got washed all the way down here. I actually don't know how high this gets, but it must get pretty high to wash these and those all the way down this tiny wee gully here down to here, and they were like piled up against the trees here. These things here had actually gone over this, and they were down there. It's crazy. So I don't actually know how high this gets, but I suspect it gets very high. Whitewater rafting high. We should offer that. Maybe that might get some folk down. whitewater rafting on our freshwater whitewater rafting course. What do you think? Is that a thing that will sell? I'm going to just take down this here. Now this is kind of still half in the ground, there's some sprouts coming off it, but it's probably not going to survive. I think this tree is no longer properly attached to the ground. I'm not an expert, but I know this tree is under all sorts of tension and compression, so if we look a bit more closely, this is my risk assessment in action. See how it's kind of sitting down on this tree here? It's impossible to know how much weight is this cruddy wee tree supporting. It's difficult to know. So I know that if I cut here, the compression is on the top here. So the fibres of the tree here are being compressed, squeezed together, and at the bottom here they're being stretched. So there's compression on the top and there's stretching on the bottom. So when I cut here, I've got an option. I can cut a little bit into the top until it begins to grip the bar of the chainsaw. Bear in mind, this whole thing is just going to go, and all sorts of other things might happen. The rest of the tree might actually be just held up by this as well. So I need to make sure that my escape route is also clear. So I'm going to run that way when all hell breaks loose. So I'm probably going to do a fairly shallow cut here until it begins to grip my bar. And then I'm going to try and hoik it out before it grips properly, because that means I don't actually have another chainsaw with me and I would have to leave it for a week. Interestingly, I and my chainsaw are currently stuck in a tree. So I climbed on top of the tree in amongst all these branches because my chainsaw is stuck. The bar rather, is pinched. And I thought if I climb on top of the tree and bounce it might come out, but I'm kind of stuck. Hold on. Holy shit balls. Action cam. You alright down there? Alright, okay. How am I going to do this? I'm going to dismount. Hold on. Oh, steady. So obviously this is dropped. This hole is dropped and it's just pinched, and I need to lift that up or push this down because that is kind of on the ground. Realistically, is there any way that I can get around there and lift that up? Because if I can, this will just drop out. I mean, it's stuck. It's well stuck. I've seen myself get a chainsaw stuck, get another chainsaw, that one got stuck, and I had another chainsaw and I managed to get it out with that. Oh, that is stuck. So if I go down here, but somehow, oh, this is boggy. Ow. Oh, that nearly came out. I need another pair of hands. That did kind of move a bit, but I actually hurt myself when I did that. Just leave it there, just leave it, go home. Forget that it happened, buy another one. It's my favourite chainsaw, dang it. This must be great cinematography. I mean, you guys don't even know who I am here. Just this old man, excuse my language, scribbling around in the trees like some sort of like weird tree monster. Yeah, I'm just going home. Just leave it there. It'll be fine. No. I mean, if I can't get it out, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to get nicked, is it? I wasn't going to, but I'll need to strip that bough down, that part of the tree down, to get weight off it so that I can pick it up and unpitch that bar. So I've got my other chainsaw. It's not the biggest chainsaw in the world. Don't laugh. On the off chance that doesn't work, I've also brought a large axe. So we'll see how we get on with that. Still stuck. I've just ran out of tools to, like, power tools. It's really annoying. I'm using an axe. Fuck. This is not. What is going on? This is not good. I'm having a mare. Holy moly. That just when it fell on the ground there, but you can see either the chain is stretched, or that's far too fat, it's all loose. Listen, that's it. You're getting no more. I've had enough. The last thing to say is, what we're going to try and do is run on the last Sunday of every month, an open day where everyone's invited to come down and have a look around, do some work. You can go and do Zumba in a room, or Pilates in a room, or circuits or something in a room, but I think we can agree that what you've seen today, the small snippets of it, trust me, you've only seen maybe a minute or two of it, but I've been at this for about an hour. It's good exercise. You're out in the open, fresh air. It's beautiful down here, except if the weather's crap. It's not so great. But when the sun's out, it's lovely. It really is lovely down here. So if you're looking for somewhere to go, last Sunday of the month, starting from the end of April, if that's like a handy Sunday, I'll need to check, that might be Easter. Is it Easter Sunday? Maybe the weekend after Easter Sunday. And have an afternoon down here doing work on the land. Adults and kids, boys, girls, ladies, men, non-binary people, whatever you want, just come down, get in touch, gosforbayoutdoors@gmail.com, or send a message, whichever you like, and if you're interested, you'll be more than welcome. In return, what do you get? A lot of exercise, and also if you're into camping and outdoor stuff, you can have a wee spot down here to camp at as well. We can give you the code for the gate. There's toilets that sort of work. Yeah, and you can come down and camp here, and it's moderately secure. It's very remote. It's about as remote as, we're only like an hour and 20 minutes away from East Lothian, but you may as well be 6 hours from anywhere because it's very remote. So yeah, there we go. That's it. No more. Had enough. See you in the next video.